Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences, such as case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the artificial intelligence do all the work. Get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. On today's episode of Pathmonk Presents, I've got a very special guest with me joining today. Please welcome Hayley, who is the lead of operations or lead of marketing operations at Event Cadence. So thank you again so much, Hayley, for joining us. It's an honor to have you on our show today.
Likewise, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So for all of our listeners out there, tell us, what does Event Cadence do overall?
Absolutely. So Cadence is the all-in-one event platform that helps you engage with your employees, customers, and communities year-round. But that's the formal way of describing it. So let me explain it to you a little bit simpler. Like when I'm out or if I have to explain it to a friend, I would say something like this. Yeah. If you attend a conference or a company event, you walk in, there's a registration table at the front. People are sitting there with clipboards. They check off your name. They hand you a packet of paper with your schedule, maybe some things to do nearby, etc. So we created an online platform, iPhone, Android, and iPad app that replaces all of that. So event planners use our platform to manage all of the moving parts, registration, material uploading, things like this. And then attendees, so you attending that conference, use our platform to access your schedule, navigate where you have to go in the conference hall, network with other attendees, download your resources, and more. And when we went virtual in 2020, our platform was adapted to fit that format as well. But I will say we're seeing the industry shift back to mostly in-person events, but we do have features that are for any type of event, whether that's in-person, virtual, or hybrid.
That's awesome. So obviously with the clients that you're serving, they're mainly event planners, but do these event planners come from all types of industries, or have you noticed that they come from more specific types of industries versus others?
Absolutely. Great question. So we kind of run the gamut at Cadence. I would say our largest sector of customers is the pharmaceutical industry. So they have a lot of conferences or medical congresses, as they call them, throughout the year. And we have very niche features that we tailored specifically for that industry. Primarily our appointments feature, which is intelligent scheduling. It streamlines and maximizes appointment bookings between doctors and pharmaceutical companies. So that's one side of our business. But I think what might be a little bit more useful or tangible for the audience today would be to speak a little bit about the other side of the business. So there we serve medium to enterprise-sized companies that have events throughout the year. So these could be internal-facing events like a company POA or corporate retreat. So for example, if you know Mary Kay Cosmetics, they use us for their internal meetings. I see you nodding. Yes, we have a woman on here today, so typically that goes over well. Yeah. And then, not to stereotype, anyone can wear makeup, of course. And then external events as well. So anything you would sell tickets to, like for example, the Library Corporation hosts their annual event in our platform to bring librarians across the country together to learn about new software and connect with one another. So that's a little niche example as well.
That's awesome. Thanks for walking me through that as well. So in terms of your clients, how do they typically find you? What would you say is your top client acquisition channel? Are we talking word of mouth, referrals, digital marketing, inbound, or is it a mix of a lot of things?
A little bit of everything, right? I think that's pretty common. But hands down, our biggest source of revenue would be word of mouth. We found that the pharmaceutical industry specifically, you think it's so large. These are these large corporations, right? But at the end of the day, it's actually quite small. People jump around to different companies. Yeah, people jump around a lot. So a lot of word of mouth there. And the event planner industry is also pretty tight-knit, we've found. So we've been a part of technology guides, and especially when we transitioned from in-person to virtual to hybrid to back and forth, the landscape was changing so rapidly and people were looking for answers a lot. So we tried to be a source of information there when we could. So to answer your question, I would say a little bit of everything.
Amazing. No, I love that. And it's great too that, a lot of it is word of mouth as well, because then it's like, that whoever has coming in, it's from a colleague or a former client or a current client that is already working with you. So, it's just going to keep adding more onto your credibility as well.
100%. And think about it in simple terms, right? If your best friend tells you to go buy this product, you're going to hold that in a much higher regard than you would if you just saw an ad on Instagram. So if you think about it that way, absolutely word of mouth is key.
Yes, definitely. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about you as a leader. So what does an average day look like for you? What do you do? What do you report to? And, what are things that you love about your work?
Oh my goodness. A little bit of everything. So my official title at the moment is lead of marketing operations, but we're heading into the director of marketing role soon. Hopefully we're laying out that pathway. But we are a startup at Cadence. So as you can imagine, everyone wears a lot of hats. No one has one role that is just one thing. So I dabble a little bit in our inbound and outbound sales. I do a little bit to help customer success here and there with some of my video editing capabilities on the marketing side. I might do some resources for them. So no such thing as a typical day at Event Cadence. It also depends on the time of year. When we're ramping up for really big pharmaceutical congresses, I might be focused on that, how we can help our current customers, what information, what blog articles, what webinars can I have to help them leading up to that. Whereas other times of the year, I might be doing something else. So no such thing as a typical day, to repeat myself.
Right. Definitely. I share you. But I think it's great too, where it seems like your team, you guys are all, very strong in the sense of where, okay, we're a startup, we all wear multiple hats, and everyone works to each other's strengths and then helps with, filling in the gaps of, okay, this is where I'm struggling. Who can I reach out to help me with this task? How can we be able to avoid these blockers as a team?
Exactly. And that's really important too. I like what you said about playing to each other's strengths. I feel sometimes you get shuffled into different projects, and it's really helpful to know I can reach out to this person for this because they are the thought leader there, and I can help, or I can reach out to my event producer here because I know they know how to set up the perfect Vimeo stream into this, or whatever you need help with. I love that everyone's so flexible within Event Cadence, for sure.
That's awesome. So now we're getting close to the end of our interview. Now I'm going to ask you some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
I hope so.
You will be. So if there were no boundaries in technology, what would be the one thing that you would want to have fixed in your role today?
Great question. In marketing, I find myself gravitating more towards the creative side. The problem with this is that a large part of marketing is often the analytics side. So there are a lot of things we've implemented to help this. For example, we onboarded with HubSpot about a year ago, and they have some really great tools that have helped navigate these features. But in terms of SEO and other analytics, if some of that was a bit more automated in my life, if I knew exactly what to change on our website so that we could rank a little bit higher, or changing the wording of this to make people click more, that would be helpful for me for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I like how you summed it up too, where, with marketing, you've got the creative side, but the analytics as well plays a huge part in that as well. So,
absolutely.
Yes. So next, what is the one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you could go back to your first day at Event Cadence?
Oh, great question. I think, as I mentioned before, we are a startup, so things move and change all the time. It also doesn't help that the event industry has had such dramatic shifts within the last 3 years of me working here. So if I were to give myself advice, maybe something I would say that we've had trouble with nailing down super clearly at Cadence is who exactly our audience is, and maybe telling myself to take a little bit more time to define those buyer personas because I find that when you try to reach everyone, you end up reaching no one. And we've done a lot of internal work, especially over the last year or so, to try to get this defined more clearly. So I think that would be my advice, but the reality is I think it would have had to change anyway. So I think my true advice would just be ready to adapt. There's always a new technique or strategy or platform that you're going to need to learn and utilize to be successful in marketing and in the event industry. So be flexible, stay informed, and just keep on keeping on.
Yes, I love how you summed it up. Keep on keeping on. Absolutely. So now we're at the end of our interview today. And I want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. And I also want to give you the last word. If anyone were to forget about everything we've talked about within your interview today, what is the one thing you want them to remember about your company overall?
If we learned anything coming out of the pandemic, it's that people really do want to connect with other people. As much as we've speculated that virtual is the new reality and people are going to attend all of their events in VR goggles and drone footage and all of this, all of that, when the doors opened up and the masks came off, people went back to in-person events in droves. There's some magic that happens when you have the combined energy of people in one room. It's inexplicable. And that's why we love events. And that's why we do what we do at Cadence. Our platform takes the elements of technology and combines them with this experience to enhance the magic of events. That's what we do. We bring people together.
I love that. And you can clearly see it to us, like, on the website, you guys are very transparent, like, hey, we're here to bring people together, but to also, help our clients at the end of the day. So it's really awesome what you guys are doing in your niche market.
Absolutely. That's great to hear that you got that message from our website. Love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely. Very well. Thank you again so much for joining us. It was our pleasure. And for all of our listeners out there, check us out next week on Pathmonk Presents.